Dragon Ball Super opened up an entire world of new characters, transformations, villains, and stories, and coming into this series after the Super Saiyan God transformation was first announced, fans had extremely high expectations for what Dragon Ball Super could entail for the series moving forward. After 20 years, over 20 years, Dragon Ball would finally get a new series, Goku would get a new transformation, and the possibilities for what was to come was practically endless. Now, Akira chose to do Dragon Ball Super his way. A lot of people like Dragon Ball Super, a lot of people don't. And what I'm going to do in this video is rewrite Dragon Ball Super as if I was the story writer. I want to take a deeper look into the arcs of Dragon Ball Super and decide, was this arc even necessary? Was it good? Would I have changed things? And mainly, was the potential of the arc and Dragon Ball Super capitalized on? That's coming up right after this. This video is sponsored by our friends over at Verve. Verve is a streaming platform that hosts a variety of different other streaming services, all centralized in one single platform that makes it super easy for you to use. And you can get a free 30-day premium trial of Verve by typing in verve.co/Mastar or clicking the link in the description. And you can also watch them on the go without an internet connection. Some of my favorite anime I'm watching right now are JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Black Clover, and My Hero Academia. With most anime on Verve, you can watch it in both sub or dub. Visit verve.co/Mastar or click the link in the description and start your 30-day free trial of Verve Premium today. Let me start off by saying that I absolutely love the Battle of the Gods arc. The introduction of Beerus, a character, a god that is so strong that he even puts Super Saiyan 3 Goku and Buu to shame. The introduction of the angels, the entire multiverse, the Super Saiyan God transformation, all of this was perfect and very, very well written by Akira in order to open up an entirely new realm of possibilities and doors for future arcs and enemies that Goku could fight. This was an incredibly solid movie and arc that they developed, and I honestly wouldn't have changed a thing. The only thing that I probably would have changed is the look of Super Saiyan God Goku. It's just way too similar to his base form, just to recolor and make him skinny. I think the potential for a God Saiyan could have been way better, but that's just my own personal opinion. Ever since Dragon Ball Z and GT ended, fans have drawn tons of fan concepts and designs for new forms from Goku, including Super Saiyan 5 from AF and the Golden Super Saiyan 5 transformation from Goku and Vegeta, which look incredible. I think that if I were to draw Goku as a Super Saiyan God, I would have taken a drastically different route and made him look more menacing and more angelic, more of a godly figure. The Super Saiyan God design really didn't come off to me as a god. It wasn't menacing. You didn't really get new abilities out of Goku. It's just simply Goku with red hair and he's covered in fire. And I think they could have done a lot of things differently, and I would have been okay with this original Super Saiyan God transformation out of Goku if they would have later on explained in the series that it is not the full transformation. It would have made sense that the first time Goku turned into it, he hadn't mastered it, he hadn't learned how to evolve it yet, which he did learn in the next arc, and that's what we're going to talk about, the Resurrection of F arc. This arc was completely unnecessary. This is where Dragon Ball Super decided to start playing homages to Dragon Ball Z, the series that made the franchise overwhelmingly popular throughout the entire world and eternal in the anime fandom. Resurrection F did very well in theaters, it brought in a lot of ticket sales, and the introduction of Goku's new form definitely brought in the attention of the viewership. However, I think they could have accomplished all of these goals, but given us a different enemy than simply bringing back Frieza with a new form. And this is what I mean by playing homages to DBZ, in that it was so unnecessary to bring back Frieza, especially give him a power boost that he's able to compete with an evolved Super Saiyan God form. Does not make any sense. I understand that Frieza was the most iconic villain of Dragon Ball Z, but this is where the story writing started to fail a little bit, and we started to lose out on the potential of Dragon Ball Super. Why bring back this super old villain that's already been brought back way too many times and somehow give him this power boost that he's able to compete with Goku, who has gone through a tremendous amount of limit-breaking stories in his quest to get where he is? I mean, even if Frieza did achieve a next level of form, he would be as strong as maybe Super Saiyan 2, doubtfully even Super Saiyan 3, and to have him compete with a god was just ridiculous. Now, in my opinion, they could have just completely cut this arc out. It wasn't really necessary unless you think of it in terms of two reasons. One, bringing back Frieza so that he could later on compete in the Tournament of Power and help Goku, but he still could have been dead in hell regardless. He didn't need to die again just for Goku to recruit him later on in the Tournament of Power, so in that sense, it's still unnecessary. The only reason that they really did this arc in that sense is to give us Super Saiyan God, Super Saiyan, or Super Saiyan Blue. I think that given the amount of production capital they had in order to make this movie, they could have given us an entirely new villain, and I think that the evolution of Super Saiyan God, I think is a great idea. I don't really like that it was a simple recolor of Super Saiyan just with blue hair. The blue didn't even really make any sense. But I could understand that they wanted to give Goku some sort of power-up for the Universe Tournament. So let's get into the Universe Tournament. Let's say that we completely eliminated the Resurrection of F arc, and right after the Battle of the Gods movie, we learned about the other universes, and Universe 6 and 7 would compete for the Super Dragon Balls. First, I want to say, I think it's great story writing that there is parallel universes, giving us the opportunity to see more Saiyans was excellent story writing and a great out in order to introduce more Saiyans, which fans love, into the series was brilliant. But I don't really like the Universe 6 Saiyans, and I think I can say that with the agreement of most of the fandom. What I want to focus on here is the first Universe Tournament between Universe 6 and 7. Now, Goku did not need to have Super Saiyan Blue for this tournament. I think as a writer, he very easily could have gone through and beat all of these enemies simply with Super Saiyan God form. They gave us this Super Saiyan God form in the Battle of Gods movie, and then they didn't use it again till nearly the end of the series, and I think they could have expanded on this form quite a bit. In all of the Dragon Ball series so far, anytime Goku got a new form, he would at least use that form for, the next arc until he would get another power-up in order to face the next more strong enemy that he would encounter. In this sense, I think that Goku should have had more practice with the God form, gotten more control of it. You pretty much would have had the exact same outcomes as the Universal Tournament had, except for the fact that Goku would not use Super Saiyan Blue and Kaioken at this state. I think that Goku actually should have lost to Hit, and it would have given us another enemy to look forward to. Not only is Beerus someone that we can look forward to throughout the series as Goku looking up to and working towards getting as strong or stronger than Beerus, but you also give us Hit and the introduction of 11 other universes with other potentially way stronger fighters. And if Goku had lost to Hit, that would have given him the incentive to train and expand his form. He would have said, Super Saiyan God somehow is not enough. There's enemies out there, fighters out there that are so strong that I need to evolve my Super Saiyan God form. And I think that after the Universe Tournament, he should have went into training, he should have learned the ki control, and he should have achieved Super Saiyan Blue, so that if he ever fought Hit again, which he actually did in episode 72, it would have shown the gap of power difference between Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue. So I think that Goku, if I was the writer, should have lost to Hit in the original Universe Tournament, then he should have trained to achieve Super Saiyan Blue, then he should have hired Hit to assassinate him just like he did in the anime, but this time he would have had Super Saiyan Blue, and it would have shown us the power scaling difference between Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan, showing us that Goku has achieved a massive power boost, and this is something that they skipped out on in Dragon Ball Super. Goku pretty much tossed away Super Saiyan God form and only used Super Saiyan Blue, and we never really got to see the power difference until Goku fought Jiren later on in the Tournament of Power. I think they should have given us this much earlier, and I think it would have been a great way to show that Goku has surpassed Hit, but there would have had to been something else in there to show that he still hasn't passed Beerus. For the longest time, fans questioned, was Super Saiyan Blue with Kaioken enough to take on Beerus, and we never really got that answer. I think that if we're gonna rewrite Dragon Ball Super here, Goku beats Hit with Super Saiyan Blue, and then he goes to challenge Beerus because he says, I got a power boost, I want to try again, but this time use your full power. I've also learned to master Super Saiyan God form, I'm much more comfortable in it, so let's go again. This time Goku would now use the Kaioken for the first time as he fights against Beerus in Super Saiyan Blue for their rematch. Goku goes into Kaioken times 10, and he's actually able to land a lot of critical blows on Beerus, but in the the end, Beerus still wins, showing that while Goku has learned to master his Super Saiyan God form, he's evolved it into Super Saiyan Blue, now he's got Kaioken times 10, his powers are reaching closer and closer to Beerus, but he's still not at that point yet, leaving fans more to look forward to as Goku would evolve even further. Meanwhile, since we learned of the Tournament of Power after the Universal Tournament, the rest of the Z fighters had also gone into training in order to improve themselves. Seeing how strong Goku and Hit were and Beerus pretty much just leaves everybody else in the dust, and I think this should have sparked Vegeta and Piccolo and Gohan and crew to train and get much stronger. And this would have been a great opportunity for Vegeta to finally get Super Saiyan Blue and for Piccolo to maybe get a new form for the Tournament of Power. I think that Piccolo was done really dirty in Dragon Ball Super. He's a staple character in the franchise, and without some sort of transformation, he really can't compete with anyone anymore. And I gotta tell you, one of the best moments from Dragon Ball Z was when he absorbs Kami and he goes up and fights against Android 17. That was the highlight of Piccolo's career in Dragon Ball Z, and it was amazing. And I would have loved if they would have done this again in Dragon Ball Super. If I was the writer, I would have given Piccolo another power boost for the Tournament of Power, just for the simple shock factor for fans and giving the fans something that they desire. So up until this point, now we're leading into the Goku Black arc, and at this point Goku and Vegeta both have Super Saiyan Blue, and nothing has really changed up to this point. We pretty much skipped the Resurrection of F arc, we gave Goku and Vegeta Super Saiyan Blue at a different stage of the anime, and we're going into the Goku Black arc pretty much the exact same way. I honestly would not have changed too much about this arc. The only things that I didn't really like was Super Saiyan Rose. They didn't really explain it. There was a lot of plot holes, and there was the retcon with the Patara earrings. I wouldn't have majorly rewritten this arc. I think the overall story of the arc is good. An evil Goku comes along. He's actually some menacing god that is inside Goku's body. I liked it. I just would have rewritten some smaller things about it, such as the Super Saiyan Rose transformation. I would have had Vegito in there for like probably 2 episodes, and I would have given some explanation on Trunks' new form. Personally, I thought the way that they finished off Zamasu with Trunks and with Zeno was okay. I honestly didn't mind it, but a lot of the fandom was super irritated at the fact that Trunks was the one who got the finishing blow at Zamasu when he shouldn't even have been in the same realm of power as Merge Zamasu. But considering how evil Zamasu was, I do think a Genki Dama was the right way to go, and Zeno snapping his fingers and erasing the entire universe with Goku and company getting out at the last second was a great way to get around the wish from the Super Dragon Balls. So I actually like the way that they wrapped up this arc. I think they did a lot of things correctly. I would have just made minor changes, so let's move on to the next arc, which is the Tournament of Power. But before we jump into that, I just want to say I wouldn't have had Trunks go back to a different timeline and leave the story altogether. It was awesome getting future Trunks back. He's one of my favorite characters, and I know he is for a lot of fans, and it would have been great to have him stick around and progress throughout the series and especially help in the Tournament of Power. But sadly, we didn't get that. I'm not really sure why. Some of the choices for the Tournament of Power themselves were questionable. I probably would have gotten rid of characters like Tien. Master Roshi did a phenomenal job. After seeing what they did with him, I would have kept him in the Tournament of Power, but I think Goten and Trunks should have been in the Tournament of Power. I think they should have been older in this series, and I think they should have had a much more integral role. I think a lot of fans would have seriously enjoyed that. Let's start off with the entire fact that this is a battle royale. Now, traditionally, throughout Dragon Ball's entire franchise, there has been tons of tournaments, and it's always 1v1 tournaments. So throwing in this whole element of a battle royale was quite a curveball, but if you really think about it, in the end, they were still able to focus on one-on-one fights quite a bit. So I don't think changing it to a one-on-one Tenkaichi kind of tournament would have made too much of a difference. However, for the purpose of this video and for rewriting Dragon Ball Super, we're going to go with a Tenkaichi style tournament, or the same way that the Universe tournament was held, one-on-one matches. Now, the first major thing that I want to announce that I would have changed in the Tournament of Power is I would have made the other universes much stronger. I would have at least had at least 2 universes, not just Universe 11, with very, very strong fighters. In my opinion, you had Universe 7, Universe 11 right off the bat. It was pretty obvious that they were going to be the last 2 ones in there. Maybe Universe 6 would hang around for a while, which they did because they have the Saiyans, but they built up so much story up until this point, and then they gave us a lot of weak, cartoony characters, and I think that they could have given us much more evil or menacing characters and universes in order to fight in this Tournament of Power. Now, in order to accomplish 80 fighters in one-on-one tournaments, what they would have done, or what the writing would have done, is you would have had to skip a lot of these matches, pretty much filter out all of the weak fighters, have a quick montage of a bunch of still frames of, the various Z fighters and Jiren and Hit knocking out all these weak characters, and you can pretty much eliminate 70 to 80% of them in one episode, just going through the frames showing that they were weak, and people knocked them all out. We could have kept the same story in that Hit, since he was a benchmark of power, somewhere between the strength of Super Saiyan God and Super Saiyan Blue, would go up against Jiren and he would get completely annihilated. That would give us something to look forward to. Jiren could have gone on to knock out other people like Gohan and the androids, simply to show that nobody is a match for this guy, and we can pretty much look forward to a Goku vs. Jiren finale, which we still pretty much did in Dragon Ball Super. Now, the reason why I think the one-on-one fights actually would have been better for the Tournament of Power is because it would have given much more focus to characters like Piccolo and the androids as they go up against other fighters. It would have had entire episodes focus on these characters, fan favorite characters that a lot of us think about, and they still somewhat accomplished this in the Battle Royale, but to show Piccolo go up against somebody and bust out a new transformation would have been an overwhelmingly amazing spectacle for fans. Vegeta still could have gone up against Toppo in the quarterfinals. He could have achieved his evolved Super Saiyan Blue state there and beat Toppo pretty much the same way that he did in the Tournament of Power, how the anime actually happened, but then in the end ultimately losing to Jiren. Pretty much most of the outcome would have been the same, but if you focus on these 1v1 tournaments, I think you can develop more interesting characters. One of the major issues I had with the Tournament of Power was quite simply that the other universes were just too weak, too cartoony. They didn't really seem like a threat, and it was more of like a comedy than an actual serious tournament. I think the introduction of some very powerful characters from other universes that looked menacing would have given us a much more different feel to the anime while still accomplishing pretty much the same goals. In the end, Goku would go up against Jiren, he would achieve Mastered Ultra Instinct, and he would win just by a hair. Now, I have no problem with the way that they ended the Tournament of Power. I thought it was cool that Frieza and 17 and Goku all teamed up to take Jiren down, but you could have written that differently. Android 17 was the MVP of the tournament, but he didn't really have to be. It was definitely a peculiar choice by Akira Toriyama, especially considering that he blew himself up, but then, magically, he wasn't actually blown up. I think it would have been really cool to give Goku the transformation at the last second and actually beat Jiren with it, but to be honest, that would have been pretty cookie cutter, and I think they were trying to try something new. Dragon Ball Super was a successful series, so to say that they were wrong for doing this or writing the series this way is hearsay, because it was a successful series. Now, considering we cut out the Resurrection of F arc altogether, that gives us room for one more arc in Dragon Ball Super, and this would be to explore the 4 remaining universes and create even more story in these universes. Or you could also have brought back the 18 universes when Android 17 made his wish. That could still happen. I would have really liked to see Goku go explore the 4 remaining universes, or maybe that's even how Dragon Ball Super ends. Goku just goes off with Beerus and Whis and says, I'm gonna go throughout these 4 top mortal level universes and search for strong enemies. Before that happens, Beerus says, if you want me to take you to these universes, you have to beat me in a fight first. Now that Goku has mastered Ultra Instinct, we go back to rematch from the very beginning of Dragon Ball Super, and now we go to the very end. Goku is fighting Beerus again, but this time he's at the true God state of a Saiyan, mastered Ultra Instinct, and this time he's actually able to beat Beerus. He has become the Saiyan God that Beerus dreamt of, showing us that the entire story of Dragon Ball Super was Goku Goku's quest to overcome Beerus, and in the end, he finally does it, and now he goes off in search for even more strong opponents in the 4 mysterious universes with the highest mortal levels. That's how I would have ended Dragon Ball Super. Leave your comments below if you liked my version of the story, and if you did, maybe we'll do some more of these one day. Thank you guys so much for visiting Mastar Media today, and we'll be talking to you soon.